Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter as we inch closer and closer to absolution after recordings fail in a row. But we're back today because nothing will stop the intimate power of Backlog Banter's two wonderful co-hosts, including Abram and Tucker Hazel. We never introduced ourselves at the beginning of the video, but now
We
you know
don't.
our names,
Wow.
even though they're in the bottom fucking corner of every single discussion. But you know what? We like clarity. We like transparency. We like communicating information. You know who doesn't? Nintendo in
Nintendo.
2020. And here's the fact of the matter. Here are the mashed beans, the hash browns, and the potatoes, and things of that nature. This is Super Mario's 35th anniversary. And outside of Lego Super Mario, a bunch of fucking Jenga pieces, and Paper Mario the Origami King, we don't know how Nintendo's celebrating.
Yeah.
However, certain people, like the people's champion Jeffy Grubb Grubb, have said and continued to say since the beginning of the year of our Lord 2020 that we are getting remasters of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy 1, maybe Galaxy 2, and the wonderful, the underrated, the underappreciated co-op Dynamax excellence that is Super Mario 3D World. But those games have not fucking materialized. And as of recording, hopefully also as of publishing, it is August 28th. And
Yes.
Mario's official anniversary, where the rubber hits the Mario Kart road, is next month. Next month is officially 35 years of
tomorrow?
the pink. No, next month.
Oh,
September. Of the ping pong pal plumber himself, Mario. So the question, Tucker, that I want to ask you:
yes.
Is this a false flag operation? Are these even real?
They're real, but I honestly do not believe they're coming out this year because I feel like this is something that would have been best to open up the year with. I mean, before COVID even hit,
Right.
Say, hey, it's Mario's 30th anniversary. We have this whole year planned out. Like, look, there's going to be a surprise reveal of something in March. We've got a bunch of games coming up, not necessarily telling us what they are. But then, even if these games are real, which I do think they are, they've been worked on for a long time. I don't think this is really as impacted by COVID as people are saying.
Yes.
If they had outlaid this year as the 35th anniversary and done it for the entire year. I mean, there was what was it, the Pokemon 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary where they did every month new legendaries available and games coming out and things like that. And they also did the year of Luigi and Kirby's anniversary. When they show that they care about the character in the series throughout an entire year, I think that is a little more of an impact and keeps more in your mindset. The only reason we're even thinking about this is because of leakers. We don't know anything about these games. The Lego sets have come out. Those would have been cool to include as part of, hey, look, Mario's getting bigger. But instead, they're just the only thing that's happened. And they, as far as I know, aren't connected to the 35th anniversary. There's no branding or anything. I think the Jenga might be. But if that's the only thing they've got planned, that's a sight for sore eyes in a bad way.
By the way, hey, look, Mario's getting bigger. Also the tagline for Mario Ultra Tennis Big Boys game on the Wii U that I've heard the title of. But here's what I want to say about all of the things you just said. Actually, I have nothing to say other than the fact that it does come down to leakers. And we're in a precarious position with Nintendo leakers right now. Their track record is getting disastrously bad. Yeah. Even ones that are in the know, like a Jeff Grubb, who I really believe is a deeply reputable source, a really traditional, really seasoned journalist who's not going to say things that aren't true that he cannot say beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's never been a bigger baller move than saying that draft was happening on March 26th, having nothing happen the morning of March 26th, and him saying it's still happening. Like, he is a man that I have more faith in the Jeff Grubb market than I do in the American stock market. But I think we're about to hit a very interesting event horizon where maybe Nintendo is providing legitimate disinformation as though it's fucking Cold War. Because there was a story that made the rounds that Star Fox Grand Prix was a disinformation campaign to expose a leaker. That was redacted to some extent. Some sources still circled it. Jeff Grubb, to bring back up the People's Champion, Jeff Grubb, he did redact that. However, that introduces a really interesting element, and I'm sure Nintendo is considering how to figure out who's leaking their shit, because Nintendo has been hit left, right, and center with leaks. Yeah. Game leaks, source code leaks, everything is getting leaked.
Yeah, this is the
So
year of the leaks, especially when it comes to Nintendo. I mean, even old games that people
yeah,
fucking haven't thought about in 10 years are getting leaked, and suddenly they're back in the mindset, which is very odd. But,
which
that's how this
which
year
for
works.
it's really weird, and for me, all it says is that Nintendo is being careful, and they're gonna do whatever they need from a corporate strategy perspective to figure out what the fuck is happening.
Hmm.
And part of that could very well be spreading information that's not correct to figure out where it came from, because then they've got something to trace and they know who's talking to who, what's going on. So I no longer believe that these are real.
Oh,
I
wow.
no
Okay.
longer believe that this collection is real. I've been teetering about this. I've tweeted about it on Twitter a couple times in the last couple months. And at various stages, I've expressed more skepticism. As my skepticism increases, it's a direct correlation to my hopefulness that they are. But I'm because this is such a tantalizing possibility.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is the perfect way to celebrate Mario's anniversary. But I just simply don't think that we have any compelling reason to believe that they are real. And I think that we only have reasons to think they're not.
Yeah.
If we were
You
having
just
this,
you just unsold me on these games' existences.
and I'm going to keep doing it right now.
All right.
Here's what you got to understand. The Pikmin 3 Deluxe thing was really fucking telling. The fact that that got announced at the beginning of August to release on the 30th of October communicates
Yeah.
that Nintendo has nothing between now and then. Because it
Wow.
doesn't make sense at all to have the thing in the distance be Pikmin 3
Yeah. Yeah.
Deluxe, and then the thing to tide us over to a port of Pikmin 3 are remakes of some of the most inventive games of all time. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Games are not coming out before then. And then if you think about how much time they're giving Pikmin, are you really looking at me and saying that in September they're announcing these games for November? Because this is something you bundle with a console. Nintendo,
Yeah.
where
It's
what
true.
is Nintendo secretly manufacturing limited edition consoles? Right? Are they planning these to just drop 3 months later? Are you really telling me that what's happening is Nintendo remade Super Mario 64 one of the turning points in our industry and our medium, and they're going to announce it 8 weeks before it releases? Are you telling me that they're going to take Super Mario Sunshine, one of the most flawed and interesting games in their back catalog, fucking fix it, redo it, and just drop it on us? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
This is something you texted to me was that these games, this is not a Nintendo move. And I put up a lot of examples of why this is. Metroid Prime Trilogy, fucking Super Mario All-Stars in the first place, Kirby's Dream Collection. There is precedent for this. And in the wider industry, it's a no-brainer. The Nathan Drake Collection, the Master Chief Collection, Spyro Trilogy, Crash Insane. But Nintendo doesn't really have motivation to do this. And from the perspective of their release calendar being so vapid, I would be in that boardroom saying, you're not selling those three games together. You're not putting those out on the same day. You're going to get one of those every quarter. There's our release calendar.
Yeah. Wow.
There is no reason to believe that these are real outside of the fact that Jeff Grubb said that they're real. And I put a lot of stock in that, like I said. But there's a lot of reason to believe then that Jeff Grubb gave him the wrong information.
Yeah.
Right? There is nothing that says to me that these are real. Absolutely nothing. There's way more than me that says it doesn't make any fucking sense. And now Nintendo's a company that sometimes you go to bed and wake up and they announce a hardware revision for their consoles. That's happened too many times.
Yeah.
They do fucking dumb and random stuff, but this is you don't just do this. This in particular you don't just do. Mm-hmm. This is a calculated strategic move that ties into larger marketing, that has all kinds of things going on. You don't just drop this. It's not happening. That's my opinion.
Well, this was an emotional roller coaster for me. I can tell you that. You can probably go through this video and watch me just change my expression over time. But honestly, you've made compelling arguments. I'm starting to agree with you. If these games are coming out, it's something that is not going to be for a while. I mean, they might not even, if they are making them, it might not be an anniversary thing. They might just be like, hey, look, people like these games. We're going to release them at some point, probably separately, so that they can fucking get their buck for their bang. But Oh man, the future does not look especially bright. As I mentioned at the beginning of our video, that will no longer be. Nintendo's future is kind of bleak, and that's unfortunate to me. I'm not particularly hyped for next gen, and the Switch would have been my saving grace. The only thing we can hope is that 2020 is a down year and 2021 is just chock full of stuff, which is possible, but I don't have a lot of stock in that.
Here's what I want to say, because this has to be a short discussion by merit of my real life commitments. I'm never going to tell you what those are. You'll watch this video, you'll never fucking know what I'm going to do. But here's the thing. I want to end this on a higher note, because you are a wonderful gentleman.
Oh,
but you also started paying closer attention to Nintendo news acutely in the more recent time.
Sure.
Nintendo, their ability to plan a release calendar has never been anything short of a clusterfuck.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bad year. I don't even think this is their worst year in recent memory. I would give that to 2016 easily. But it's bad. However, Nintendo bounces back. They just do. And Nintendo has so many teams. They have so many studios working constantly. Because it's not like they're like, you know what, Grezzo, you just did the Link's Awakening remaster. Just sit in the office for 2 years. Just fucking, I don't know, look out the window. They didn't go next level games. You just made Luigi's Mansion 3. What if you just fucking shot plungers at the wall like Luigi does? No, Next Level's probably working on other Marios. Maybe they're working on Punch-Out, you know? There's so many teams that are always moving, and Nintendo has this terrible habit of finishing games and tucking them in the breast pocket that I don't have, right? But they have that pocket. And sometimes they accidentally put them on the eShop. And you learn, hey, Twilight Princess HD is content complete and pressed and in the back end of the storefront. We just can't play it yet. And it gets announced 6 weeks later. The point is, Nintendo, they're loosey-goosey. They're fucking, pardon my language, I should have prefaced that one. But Nintendo does as Nintendo does.
Yeah.
And they will bounce back from this.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the point I was trying to make earlier, even if I didn't go as much into the developmental side of it, is that we've seen weak years, but then we've also seen strong years. And seeing the strong years might give you hope. If you become a Nintendo fan in 2017 and you're like, man, the next 4 years are going to be like this. We're going to get bangers every month. There's going to be something to play around every corner. That's not the case. But those years do happen. And hopefully next year is one of those years. It might not be. It might just be a good year. It might just be a solid year. But, I mean, that's a huge upgrade. My point about next gen not being super exciting is almost kind of moot now. Because now that I'm realizing it, there's no way Nintendo's next year is worse than this year. It's no matter what it is, it's fucking uphill. All right, we're going uphill from here. Because as you were saying, you're right. There's all these studios working on things, and they have to put out something at some point. So we'll see what comes. I mean,
it's a war of attrition.
We're here on the fucking precipice, on the tip of Hawk's Peak, if you will, looking for that Nintendo cell phone reception. But we'll be listening with our ear to the ground and our phone to the sky for Nintendo to drop any news, and we're here to discuss it when it happens. So I think that about does it for this video. Got anything else you want to say?
Last thing I want to say, because this is a video about 3D Mario remasters, is I think that these would not be given the credence they were if Nintendo had these rumored in 2019 when we were getting games all the time.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the belief in these is a function of the fact that we've got nothing else to look forward to at the moment. And I think we're going to ride up this rough patch. We're going to get into a more consistent release calendar. These remasters are never going to come out, but we're going to have new exciting games to look forward to.
Yeah.
And that's my general opinion. And I have to go.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. Okay. Well, see you guys in the video. Bye.
Goodbye. But I'm getting a phone call right now. Here's what I want to do very quickly. We need to cut this part out, but this might be an important phone call.
Okay.
Hello? Okay, it was spam. They're telling me about my car warranty. I don't even have a fucking driver's license, but it was the area code, and it looked similar to the phone number that we would get from our school's COVID testing place, and we got a positive result.
Oof.
And I was like, "What the fuck is happening? I haven't gone anywhere. Something's seriously wrong." But no,
Yeah.
they were trying to sell me car insurance for a vehicle I don't own or have the capacity to operate. I don't have. This is a terrible discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we stop?
Yes, I am not feeling it at all.
Okay.
I was like, this is a terrible idea.
Oh my god. All right. Well, this will be Patreon content.
Yeah, Patreon, OnlyFans content.
only Backward Mentor OnlyFans.